with that, I'm going to introduce this beautiful lady that I've known for quite a number of years. She's our she guides us and gives us shares the teachings and reminds us of a lot. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Grandmother Renee.
Well, hello everyone. I can't say happy Valentine's Day, but I'll say happy Hearts Day, happy Love Day, happy being alive. Being alive is a gift that the Creator gave to us. And I'm so grateful that I'm filled with love. And I want to share that with every one of you. We think love is, to us, we've been groomed to think love comes from a person. And we've been, since we were children, we need a boyfriend, we need a girlfriend. And we go looking for that. But love is all around us. We came from the sky world. I had to put that in the background. We come from the sky world where it was filled with love. Just as I'm speaking about love, oh, my arms are just tingling with excitement and love. And I'm in love every day because I have love given to me every day. Love surrounds us every day. And so I even wear a dark shirt today. I include all the people. And I also include the flowers. You see the flowers? I include that because we are of love. Everything was made for us to be loved. Even my hair talks about, when I comb my hair, it reminds me that when I feel my hair, I think of all the times. How many of you had someone do this to you? And that is a sign of love, right? How many of your grandmothers, how many of your mothers, even your fathers have done this to you? That's a sign of love. How many of you have, as they say, burped? Well, that's your body saying, I love you. And it helps you to know that you are love. Every part of your body, you are so magnificent. My gosh, you are amazing, unique, very special because you were made in love. You were made from creation. You were made to be always renewed. Isn't that awesome? To be renewed every moment of our life. That is what we call death. Death is a part of love too. Death is a gift that is given to us to continue on to the next stage. Did you know that? And one day I will make that journey of love. I will return back to the sky world. I will return back to where all my loved ones are. And I will return back to, I will see those that are coming before me and I will be able to help them. We've been so groomed. Well, I guess you want to say colonize. Well, colonize put a lot of fear in us. And so as a result, they told us every time we misbehave, they told us that we're going to go to a place. They give that name hell. Well, there's no such place as hell to me. There is no place such as hell. It's only in our minds. And when this was the becoming of guilt and shame. That's where hell is. It's in our own minds. Everything of our bodies was to teach us of love. And that's why I said the first language is love. Look at, you were blessed with eyes to see. You were blessed with hair. You were blessed with ears to hear. You were blessed with the ability to smell. You were blessed with the ability to taste. You were blessed to feel and to touch your skin. When you touch your skin in such a kind way, you're giving yourself the most precious gift of all, and that is love. Your fingertips touch your forehead. Your fingertips has an energy force. It's just like it's floating across and forth. And so this energy force is very strong. And that is the creation's love within us. And you can feel it in your fingers. How many are feeling it crossing back and forth across your fingers? That is the energy of love. We are made of love because everything in our creation story, oh my gosh, everyone should know the creation story, because your creation story, because it talks about a place that they had to learn many lessons. Well, I went in search for that understanding because I was not satisfied with, in our creation story, with Sky Woman falling. I had to know more. I had to know more about her mom, about her dad, her family. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what she was given to help herself, to love herself, to be resilient. The more we love ourselves in a kind, good way, to honor our sacredness, is the most powerful medicine of all. And so those are one of the gifts she was to give us, the understanding of love. Because parents, that is the greatest gift you can give your child, is yeah, meaning no. I know it's hard. It's very hard because those young ones, they're pretty slick. They can tell, they can wink their eye at you, or they can look at you and they'll almost like, please, please. And you give in to them. But what you're doing is harm to them. You need to be firm. And that is the first sign of love. Because that's what she had to learn. She had to learn to stay within that lodge. So she had a boundary. How many of you have set your children in a boundary, telling them, no, they can't go? I know, because even my father said, no, you can't. No, you can't go out. No, you can't go there, because they know and they've seen and they experience what it was like. So when you hear the word no, it is an affirmation of love. Our grandmothers would go like this. That was a sign of love. How many of you seen that sign? That was a reminder. We didn't have to use our verbal mouth to say, yeah. All we had to do is go like this, or we had to just go like, and that was a sign of love. Love, because it was to correct us. You see, our people had ethics, values, principles, because we were given love first. And with that, because of that, when the first visitors came, they described us as godlike children, godlike people, because we loved them. We loved everything. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine that moment, being there at that time, how everyone expressed themselves with respect and kindness and goodness? And so that goes back to our creation story. They created a boundary. How many of you have set up boundaries? How many of you have given them a responsibility? That is love. That is love. My dad would say, he when I got to be a teenager, and he would say, you have to be home at 12. And I go, oh, this is just when everything's beginning, Dad. Mom, can I stay a little longer? Please, please. Dad would say, no, you have to be home. And if I wasn't home, he would come after me. He would come and pick me up where I was supposed to be, where I was. I had to make sure I was there. And so this continued until one time I would feel so upset with my parents, and I felt kind of embarrassed because I had to go home. And my friend was standing with me one time that I had to go home. And sure enough, my dad come and picked me up. And I said, I have to leave. And she looked at me, and she, that envy look. Well, she gave me that envy look. She says, I wish somebody cared for me. I wish someone had cared for me, that wanted me to come home and be safe. She says, but I don't have anybody like you. And so that stuck in my mind. You know, a lot of times we want to say something. That's why the Creator gave us our teeth. Bite your tongue, because one day you're going to be a parent and you're going to have to discipline your child. Because if we don't discipline our child, what kind of world are we going to have? It's going to be filled. You see, every child needs structure. They need to know to get up in the morning. They need to set a routine. That is love. Because creation, all our stories talk about how the sun rises and walks across the sky. It's a schedule because he loves you and he knows how important you are. Then the moon, Grandmother Moon takes over. She watches you during the night. That is love. The wind comes at certain times. That is love, because they have to come and clean the land, the air, and the water. The birds were given instructions to sing as soon as they get up. That is a sign of love to help us lift our minds. And they also sing when it's time for us to go to bed. That was our clock a long time ago. It was time you go to rest. And the reason I wear black is I remember I come from the sky world. And in that time I was in that womb, I remember my mom's love because I was her first child. My mom was all excited for me to be a part of her life. I'm just crying now because that is such a strong and beautiful love. And how do you feel when you have your firstborn? There's so much love. There's so much love. Your whole body, just, there's a rush. And so I can imagine how it was in the sky world, filled with so much love, so much love. And so she had to learn lessons so that she could love and be grateful for love. How many of you are grateful for your life? How many of you are grateful for, as they say, your eyesight? How many of you are grateful to hear? How many of you are grateful to be able to taste and to speak? So our bodies was created out of love. That is a magnificent part, because you know, when our bodies get sick, what does it do? It gets a fever. And this fever is to burn out the virus, but yet we want to, as they say, all we have simple ways is of cooling us down. And there again is water. Water is a gift of life to help us to maintain balance. So you see, every day I feel love from all creation. And so I go and I see how the sky woman, her name was Matured Flower, and how she was given understanding of life. She was given dreams. Dreams are a gift of love. And we don't understand that. We think they are boogeymans. We think because we have had glasses on that is so, what they call, so conditioned of fear and doubt and of hell. We have been, we also, in our creation story, it talks about the time when there's going to be tricksters on our road, on our path. And the greatest gift the Creator gave us was a gift of love. You know what that is? My grandma called it a crap detector, right? You know when you're doing right and you know when you're doing wrong. That is a powerful gift of love that has been put inside you. Isn't that awesome? You are born, every tissue, every part of you. But if you don't learn how to love yourself, how can you not know and feel love? And that's why the waters, their tears, was given to us to wash away all those things that may harm our love, may disrupt our love. And so tears, water, we are, what they say, over 90% of water. Well, that's the beauty of it. We wear different colors every day. You know, our spirit tells us how to dress. Did you know that? How many went to your closet and say, oh, what should I wear today? And then you pick out colors. And those colors are a gift from your spirit telling you, oh, this is the kind that you should wear because it will help you to get through today. And so when I feel the buckskin, the leather, I think of the love of that animal. Oh, I love dancing in buckskin. Oh, I love it. It just like the animal that had given his life so I could have, to shine just like him, to be so powerful just like him, and to dance so lightly just like the deer. And so we have different colors in today's world. A long time ago, we didn't have that many colors, so we had to wear colors inside. That's why the creator put it all around us, all these different colors, all these different fragrances to remind us that you are love. So throughout our creation story, it talks about it was to help us to get ready when there would time when we would forget and we would have grief. You see, trauma is a part of our life. It is like, I guess you say, gasoline to keep your motor running. It is a gift that was to say, what are you? It's to make you stop and look around. What am I not doing right? What am I doing wrong? And so we get to, because we were given all the tools how to overcome trauma. And that was a gift of love. You know, the ability to cry is a gift of love. The ability to go to sing is a gift of life. The ability to hum. You know, when I was growing up, you know, when you were walking down the road, you could hear someone singing all the time. It wasn't by a radio, or they were singing from their hearts. You would hear different songs in the neighborhood when you walked down the road. And even when I walked down the road, I was singing a song because nature put that love into me. I felt like singing. I felt like appreciating things. And so when you hear singing all around, creation is also a happy place. And so in creation, she was given dreams. And that's what my father spoke of. He says, the strongest medicine is love. It can reach between two worlds. Isn't that awesome? Well, it sure is, because, you know, my loved ones visit me. You know, my father passed away in July, and he visited me, and I would say October. He came to me in a dream, and he took me to the sky world, and he showed me things. He showed me where I was to go, so I would not have fear. My granddaughter, I mean, my daughter, when she passed on, she came to visit me within 6 weeks. She came because that strongest love that we have for each other. My grandpa has come to me in my dreams, just like your family has come to you in your dreams. Sometimes you may not recognize them because they are the ancient ones. You know, some people, that when I hear them tell their stories of their dreams, they tell me they'd call him a boogeyman. You know, they have to understand we didn't have many colors a long time ago. And pretty well, we just had dark clothing. And so we walked with we walked with that, but our love shined through. And I hear sometimes people, they have described their dream where somebody with a looking dark had bent over. It looked like they were going to devour me. And I said, no, 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 no. I said, what they were doing was bending over to give you a kiss on the cheek because they know you were going through hard times. I said, you may not recognize them. You may see them as an old man, old woman, and maybe because you don't understand today's language, we use a lot of negativity. you would say it, oh, ugly man, oh, ugly person, because you've been groomed to think of beauty all the time. Beauty in all, that's the way you're to be. But the beauty that we are to have is the beauty inside. That is that flame of love. That flame of love. When you rub your hands together like this, feel that energy feel that energy that you have by just putting your hands together. Feel that energy. That is a gift from your heart, a gift that keeps pumping 24/7, 24/7, to help us to see the wonders of each day, the miracles that is going to happen. But if you have these glasses that are always of fear and doubt, you will become, as they say, sad and give up your spirit. Your spirit doesn't want you to give up. Your spirit wants you to glow with love. Feel that love, that energy that is all about you. Feel that energy, because that's what it's all about. And so she learned a lot of things. There's going to be tricksters on our path. And that's why the Creator put in us our conscience. That is a gift to help us, because we're not to blame anyone for what is happening to us. We have the power to take our resilient back. Both my grandmothers went to residential school. And today I am strong because of that. And my grandmothers had married into families that had the knowledge and had that understanding. And even in your neighborhood, there's always someone that has that knowledge. If you didn't get that knowledge, go and seek out the one that is. So don't blame, because the Creator loves you. He doesn't want to see you sad, and all creation don't want to see you sad. And they told us there's going to be a time without. Many of us have been a time without. And that goes back to creation story. That is another gift of love, because we're not to have everything in our life. So we have to learn how to go without in order to appreciate. So you see, going without. I grew up growing without having meat on every meal. And I'm stronger because I didn't have meat every day. I had the food that was grown from my garden. I never had store-bought meat till I was 8 or more. And so you see, when I grew up, I had to learn how to either have milk in my cereal or milk for my coffee. I had to make a choice. So I went without milk in my coffee. I had to learn how to go without salt, go without sugar, because there were times when we had lean times in our families that we didn't have these things. And so it enhanced my body more. And you know what? We went without cakes and cookies when we were growing up. And so when we have a birthday, we just have a smidge, just a smidge, because I come from a big family. And so to make it all equal, we would just have a smidge. And that was a sign of love, because we didn't, as they say, stuff ourselves with a lot. That was not good for us. Now we're learning all these things that they said we need to have. By being without, we are a lot stronger. We are a lot stronger. And they tell us that there's going to be a time again when we're going to have to learn how to go without. How many of you had a pantry? That is a love from all creation, giving you resources to get you through. Food is a gift because it was given to us. And that's what I said. All seeds, all the seeds they have love inside them. This is why we sing to them. This is why we dance for them, because we're so grateful that they came from the sky world and they know their instructions. Their instruction is to ensure that we're going to be healthy. And we need to be eating our traditional foods because we're getting away on, well, there's great change in our diets. And our diets have changed because you notice every nationality has certain foods for their DNA. We're changing so much, so we become, and so I am so blessed that I have hunters in my family. My great grandson, my granddaughter's husband, my son, my brother-in-laws. They all, since I'm the oldest, I'm being well taken care of. I have Venice, I have elk, I have moose, and so I'm being taken care of. And those are what is going to make me more resilient, is having those foods that my great grandmother ate. I'm going to eat corn. I love squash, and so does my son. He loves squash. So does my great grandson. And my children, they like that bean soup. You know, how many right now we should be having bean soups, because this is one. Beans was an alternative to meat. So beans are very important for us, and that is a sign of love. Squash, pumpkin seeds. There's so much more that have given us a new life, a new beginning. The food that we're eating today doesn't give us that. The food today takes away our spirit, and so we're looking for love. We're looking for love from our food, because that's what the promise was, a commitment the Creator gave our original, those seeds. Those seeds were to ensure that we had love. You know, when Grandma cooked, it was always, you could smell that love. Your house just smelled love. Wow. It was so powerful. And you could just, and that's what every house is missing. That's sign of love, to smell home cooked meals. My mom foresaw that being a single mother, she bought my one of my gifts was a crock pot, and I still have that crock pot. And my son is 50, he'll be 55 in a month. And so so home cooked meal is a sign of love. That's what our homes, this is why there's so much sadness. This is why our children going through, this is why there's so many relationships breaking up, is we have forgotten how to put love in our homes. We forgot how to love our environment and respect it and take care of it. Our forest a long time ago was filled with love because we understood love. And even like this time right now, we're getting ready for the trees. And so if you've noticed, the winds came. Well, when I got home today, I saw my things flowing all over my porch. The wind came to break down the trees, those trees that have been need to be brought down. And so these trees, when they're brought down, we would gather them, and we would create this fire for our sweet water. So you see, what you look at as, why did that tree fall? Why did this fall? It is nature showing us love. It's helping us, giving us these things. Even when it gets cold, that's a sign of love. How many of you take cold showers? You see, water, this is how we disciplined our children. Because when when they're upset and when they're angry, what did we tell them? Don't you cry. Stop that. But that tear was a gift of love. These hands were a gift of love. And so what do when you feel, oh my gosh, I feel overwhelmed? Wherever your hands go to restore love, that's where they'll be. If you got a headache, it'll go, oh, it restores love. Wherever you got a sore, it restores love. So every part of your body was a very unique way of receiving love. Wow, our creation story. And that's why I really loved it, because I had to find out what she had to go through. So how I'm telling you is from a grandmother's perspective, because I applied it to my life. And that's what all our stories are meant to. Our stories are meant of love. Yes, there are stories that talk about consequences, but that's a sign of love. We have a choice, nobody else. We make those choices, nobody else. And so this is why always think you have the ability to create your world. If you want that world filled with love, you have to be you have to be that fire. You have to take care of your fire, that gentle fire of love. And when you give a gift, I'm always giving my gift of love to everyone. And some may abuse it, some may just shut it off, but it's their gift I have given to them. And that's what I was told a long time ago. You know, when you give a gift of love and people or abuse it or reject it, you know, their body knows they have received a very special gift. And so in turn, they will feel on, they'll feel a feeling that, oh my gosh, they don't understand. And what they have done is they have abused their sacredness. They have disrespected a gift of love. So don't get upset when someone rejects your love. You know, maybe they need to, um, as my grandpa said, there'll come a time when they're done. They'll say, enough's enough. I don't like the way I'm feeling, because all those rejections that they have done, and they have harmed somebody, they have hurt somebody, it all goes to their heart. It all goes to every part of their body, all those negative emotions. When you have love, you have built up your resilience. But because of today, there is so much fear, there is so much doubt. And that goes back to our creation story, because she had to, she was given this um, opportunity to go and support somebody on a dream. And she didn't feel, she wasn't really sure. And that'll happen in our lives. And so she turned back, and there is that understanding of guilt and shame. Not guilt and shame, is fear and doubt. I apologize. It's fear and doubt, not guilt and shame. It's fear and doubt. And we are to turn around. That's why we say, anytime that we have that doubt, we are to turn ourselves around and listen to our bodies, and then we can go on. Nobody uses their intuition anymore. That's a gift of love. That consciousness is a gift of love. And how we use it, it's the consequences of abusing a sacred gift. And so she makes this journey, and she meets this person. You know, a long time ago, um, we had long courtships. Nobody, as they say, my grandma, they would say, jump in the sack. That's today's language. Well, there was a long-term relationship, so that you would get to know each other. And so the male would come into the he's one that he likes. And so he would visit the family, and he would show in that time of his love, how he loves not only her, but how he loves her mother, her father. That played a very important role, because we understood that this would be a long relationship. Sometimes we have referred to respect. So respect is the same as love. Those things work hand in hand. Like all the seven grandfathers, they work hand in hand with love. Humility, strength, courage, bravery is all of love. Love of the spirit, to be kind, to be compassionate, to care. To us, we have the seven thickness, the seven span of our skin. That means principles and values. They play a very important role in raising your children. And that's what we need to bring back into our communities. You know, when they say a long time ago how my dad would say, if the neighbor sees you misbehaving out there, they have every right to correct you. And I'm glad I was taught that, because they became like my aunties and my uncles. And so I'm very grateful. Today, if I was to say something to somebody's kid in my neighborhood, they would say, mind your own business. They have forgotten that it takes a whole community to raise a child. If you if you didn't listen to the the one, as they say, the one that had disciplined you, you rejected that love, because they cared for you. They cared enough for you to prevent you from having severe consequences. And so it wasn't a sign of controlling, it was a sign that they cared. And that caring was a sign that they want you to be, you are like their own children. That's how we looked at everyone. We didn't look at, oh, that's their children. Let them behave, let them straighten them out. No, we would come by and support them, because that's the way it was. That's how it was given to us. Our instructions was, comes from the sky world, how to conduct ourselves in relationships. Yeah, it's so wonderful. We have our stories, we have our heroes, and how they had to go through hard times. You know, Sky Woman really taught me a lot about love, because she taught me how to love myself. Even though, you know, I could have had a pity party, oh, poor me, and all that. But she showed me how to, when you're in a place without, you know, when she came here, she was without a partner, without her family, without her home, without food, without lodging. But she, she got up and she danced, because she loved that life that she was given, and all her energy, her spirit was thinking of that child that she was carrying. We'll do, it's like, we will rescue our children. And so what she did was, she realized that she had to brush that off. So what do you do when you, many of you have fallen in your dream, you go, well, that's what happened in real life. Sky Woman fell. We still have that memory in us. And so that memory is a sign of love, that we came from a very sacred place. So when I fall in my sleep, or fall while I'm nodding off, I just say, oh, I just came from another visit, from visiting my family in a sky world. And so then again, I feel love, because we were told to respect the tree, because that was what her partner was, the tree of life. So how many respect your tree of life? That's, you are that tree of life, because you will have many generations. And so when we do that, when we respect ourselves, it means you are healthy. You are healthy in your mind, your body, and your spirit. So here she is. She comes to that tree. She is with child. She loves that child so much. And that's what the grandmothers would say. When you're with new life, you go out. This is how my grandma taught me. You go out, and she said, when you wake up, you get your husband off to work, you get your house all in order, so that so that the time comes when you have a child, you'll have a schedule. Get yourself ready for a schedule, because when you leave your home, you have to start your own routine and schedules in your home. And that's what she had asked me to do. She said, then everything will run smoothly. If you leave things, there may start an argument. Someone may fall. Someone may, as they say, trip and fall. And that can cause arguments in the home. So learning how to keep a clean house, um, that's what the people would say today. What long time ago we would say, care for your environment. Care for your environment. That means picking up. And that's how I was told that our forests looked like a park, because we cared for our younger children. And so when we all together, we would go and collect the wood. And so it was like a park. It was cleared. And so our children learn at a very young age. They model what we do. If you're going to um, not do anything and sit around, you see, our bodies was made for love, to last a long time and to be healthy. Our arms, our joints, every part of our body was made out of love so that we could be doing. And that is important because it's part of a ceremony. And so we are in ceremony, and that is a part of love. When you wake up in the morning and you brush your hair, that is a sign of love and caring. Washing your face is a sign of love and caring. And getting dressed in that way, you look and you say, aha, this is what I will dress today. I was going to change, but I said, no, I'm going to use the darkness, because in that, we were given that place, the womb, to use, to go inward and to feel love within ourselves. Because the food that our mother ate was to ensure that we were getting love. It's sad today that many of the mothers that are carrying the children, they're eating the wrong kinds of food. And so what is going to happen to their child? Their child is not going to be able to think clearly, will not be able to be prevention of any health problems. And so that is a sign of love. That's why the food. So now I'm still with Sky Woman. Now she goes through this tree. And so on this tree is all the things that our children, our children, I had cravings, and I can imagine how she felt, because she described to her baby that was inside, oh, can you smell that? There's that sign of love. Ah, that vision that you had of this fruit. And since the baby did not know or had not tasted, envisioned all these things. And so this is why we get craving, because our baby has not really has associated that color and that taste. And so our bodies want different things, unusual things combined together. So that baby is, if you see the world as hell, and you're feeling angry and miserable, this is what's going to happen to your child. Your child is going to be seeking love. And so when I was carrying my firstborn and my second and my third, I was always talking about, oh, look at the beautiful trees when I was out walking. See, I was always talking to the trees and all things, because we did that when we were little. And so I continued because I realized when I moved away from home, I was without my family. I was without my community, because I moved into a new community. I left the reserve and went into the city. So I had to bring that love with me. But there was still times when I really missed my family. That meant the trees and plants and the frogs, especially the frogs. Oh my God, I missed them. The frogs would, when spring come, when the changing of the seasons, oh, I leave my window open so I could hear the frogs sing. And that is a sign of love because they're letting us know a change is happening. Oh, hearing the crickets, that's a sign of love. Oh, all these singers that are out there, they're letting us know a change is happening. And so we say, oh, thank you to all those plants and animals. Even the plants talk to us. The fragrance, oh, it's so amazing. When you take a plant and you smell it, ah, that's a sign of love. Because the creator, when he created all things, that's going to come in the other part of the creation story. And so she sampled everything of that tree. And that's why today you'll see our children eating a piece of bark. They'll have a bark in their mouth. They'll have twigs in their mouth. They'll have a leaf in their mouth. It's because it was the medicine to ensure that we would renew our love, the love for ourselves. And so now today, those barks, everything that we sampled, she sampled while she was carrying her child, was preparing us to love ourselves, to care for ourselves. And so this is why we're here today, resilience, because of that love. And because of from all creation that we're still here today, because they give us the gift to love and feel love. So when she fell from sky realm, you see, again, there was love from the birds. How many like turkey? How many like seeing the eagle? All of them play a very important role for us. They are like the metaphors of life. They remind us that we are loved. When you see an eagle, what comes to your mind? It means that he sees what you are doing. Isn't that nice? Knowing someone that if you're doing something good, you know, one day you're going to be walking and you're going to see a small feather on the ground. And that is amazing because he dropped a feather to acknowledge your work. That is a sign of love. Wow, it's so beautiful. And so in the eagles, you see how they soar above us. They usually come when we're in ceremonies, or they'll come when you're feeling you need support. And all of a sudden that bird, the eagle comes and he flies over us. Well, for my birthday last year, it was the most beautiful gift. We were along the river here on the Grand River of Six Nation, but we were further up from our reserve. And we were at a sacred site, Five Oaks. And what had happened was when we were sitting out there doing ceremony or just talking, an eagle came and it flew over us. And his wingspan was as long as I'm tall. That's how big he was. He was magnificent. And he circled around us and he went off. And when we finished with it, he came back around again. And so even the drop, if you find a feather on the ground, that's a sign of love because creation is acknowledging, you know, what you're doing right. Because sometimes we think, where's the people? You know, we want to be validated, but it's going to be creation is going to validate us. They're going to show us, say, hey, you did a good job today. And say they drop a feather or they leave a nice coin. And that's how our people did a long time ago. We would be out there and we'd look around on the ground and we pick something up and it became a part of our bundle because it reaffirmed that love that that's going to help us. So how many of a dish of rocks? You know, your grandchildren, your children would give you rocks. How many give you flowers? Those what you call weeds, but we call them the gift of love. Those children came to show us that. That's what every child has come into our life, is to remind us of love. They are not here by mistake. No one was ever made in mistake. Everyone had chose to come in however situation because they were to bring change to the world. This has to stop. So many of us came to bring change. And so that the one Sky Woman was carrying, she was going to bring great change to us. And because she was so kind and filled with love from all creation, she was well taken care of. Can you imagine being surrounded by all kinds of animals that weren't even afraid of you, that sat with you and talked with you? You talk mental telepathy. That's the greatest way of communication. That is a gift of love. So our language, when they tell you, you learn your language, that means learn your language of love. Learn how to be kind and compassionate and caring, as they say in our way. And so I wrap all these around me every day. Because at the nighttime, this is when I get to visit the ancestors. They come and they tell me. And so it's so, so beautiful. Then I have the nighttime. We are so, so blessed to have this opportunity of our bodies healing. What a magnificent opportunity is to have, to be sleeping and our bodies not doing, for us to receive a very special gift. At that time, our organs, our liver, our every cell, all the bones, they are refining themselves, they are healing themselves, they are mending themselves so that we can be productive the next day. And so we look at our bodies. Look how they move. When we have a newborn baby, what do? We look at their hands. It is so amazing. We look at their feet. We look at their legs. We look at their face and their ears and their eyes. Isn't that amazing? It came because they were a gift from the Creator to us as human beings. It may not be the human beings that may have love, but it was the Creator's love that sent it to the people to bring change. Every child was a special gift from the Creator. Every child. And so in our creation story, it tells how now the wind came and visited this young girl. She had grown up and she was filled with so much love. It just radiated from her. So the wind wrapped around her and she became with life again. And now she was blessed of movement within herself. There was two she was to have. We have known them as the left and the right. But as a grandmother, I know how people are. And I was told by my grandma that in each of us, there's a twin. So how many of you are the twin of impatient? How many of you are the twin of patient? You see, those are the balance, and that is what we need in our life. And that is a symbol of love. Love. So that the Creator, we always have these two. It is that flow of the energy back and forth. You know how they have this slinky, how you used to do that. That is an energy that is filled with love. So we are to be in balance. And so she had these two children, these two little ones that came. They were boys. And one was patient and filled. They were filled with their mother's love. The one, he was impatient and he wanted to go out. And he wanted to get out quick. And the patient one said, no, we need to go the proper way. So in our lives, know that that love, that child, that maybe that child needs that extra love, the one that's impatient, that one. And so it teaches us we need to love ourselves more. When we're impatient with ourselves, we have to learn how to make things right. That's the way it was a long time ago. Today they call it apologizing. People don't like to apologize today because they think they don't want to give that gift. But I would rather like to make things right with myself so that I can have a peaceful and be filled with love. And so these little ones were born. The one that was born came, the one that was impatient came out of the side. And so at that instant, the other one had come the regular way. But at that moment, that grandmother had turned just for a moment. And when she saw that her daughter was no longer alive, she went to that dark place because of the opposite of love is anger. So you can imagine that's what happened. What at that moment she was angry. It's an emotion that we all have, but we're to turn it when anytime we have that anger festing in us, we're to love ourselves, let it go, let it go. We have to be kind to ourselves, and we have to recognize that we need to love ourselves again. And so um so can you imagine how that one was a patient? Because at that moment his grandma she was hurt. And who did this to my loved one? Can you imagine how her heart was broken? Here she was to have a beautiful blessing. Her daughter, her two to her grandchildren, grandsons, but it turned the other way. It was to happen again, trauma. It was to happen so that we would know how to live in our lives to restore our love. And so she blamed, and and right away the impatient one pointed his finger. And that is one of our best signs. My grandma said, anytime you point your finger at anyone else, you must turn it back and put it over your heart and make things right. Because every time you point your fingers, you are 3 times you have to take care and make sure you are not hurting another person. Your thoughts can hurt a person. Your words can hurt a person. So that's why you need to always be self-care. Self-care. That's why we have so much disease, because people don't care. How many of you use that word, I don't care? While you're doing more destruction to your body, when the Creator has given it the ability to heal. But every time you say, I don't care, you're abusing yourself. You're abusing every part of a very sacred gift of renewing your body. It's just like not showing love to a very special gift. So here he is, the patient one. His grandmother had pushed him aside. His brother now said, goes with his grandmother. Isn't it so that, sometimes a grandma fairy is the one that is the baddest? Well, sometimes she knows he needs extra love. She needs to, as they say, need to take off that pain that he's carrying. So in the meantime, the patient one is without a grandma. The patient one is without a brother. And this is what is siblings hurting one another. And this is why the coldness, that's what my grandma, she brought that story in. She said, when your brothers, I remember one time when my brothers and sisters, we were arguing and fighting. That's only normal. We have these debates, discussions, and arguments. That's a part of growing, knowing who we are and everything. Anyway, grandma said, well, send them to bed. So we had to go to bed, and one would be at one end of the bed and the other one would be at the other end of the bed. And Nicole would come, because my grandma says, you watch, tomorrow morning they'll be smiling, they'll be good, they'll be better tomorrow. And sure enough, during the night it got cold. And so what did we do? We went and our bodies automatically went and wrapped it around each other, because We need that relationship of knowing someone cares. And even though we have hard times, we're going to come back to love. We're going to come back to love. And so when we woke up in the morning, we may have gone like this, oh, but then we smile. Then we realize that that fight wasn't 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 to destroy our relationship. It was just to make it tighter, stronger. We're to have these ups and downs because we're only human and we're not perfect, and we're going to have those times. And that's again the meaning of trauma. We're going to have those times to always be working on ourselves, working on our future, working towards creating a healthier, because we know what we don't like and we know what we like. And so this is why we do this. So I'm very grateful that these stories were given to us to help us. These are our stories to guide us and to help us to get through our challenges. And so at that time, he said, I can imagine him, what he felt like, what people call feeling that moment of abandonment. How many of us have felt that? Well, we have probably, well, every one of us has felt that one time or another in our life. But he didn't stay there. What he did was he went, he said, if anyone feels, I can imagine, because that's just what I heard when my grandma say that too. If anyone ever feels this way, this is what I would make to help lift their minds. So he went and he created all these things. He created foods, medicines to make our minds strong and healthy again. He made our bodies feel love again. And what he did was he created all these things, the birds and the medicines and the sustenance and he created all these things to help us through that time when we felt we weren't loved. We felt that we were alone. And so he created these things. And so that is such an evidence of us being prepared with love, and everything around us was prepared in love. So how can you see this as hell? I worked at a treatment center for many, many years, and a lot of people would, because of their broken spirit, they had what we call guilt and shame. That's what causes people to create their own hell. And this, they asked a lot of deep questions because they want to know. And so one of the things I said to them was, I said, it's a trying time when they lose their spirit. But I said, we are all here to help. And I said, the Creator loves us so much. When we do the Thanksgiving address, when you hear all our speeches, when you hear our ceremonies, they talk of the language of love. You don't hear them criticizing. They're just grateful. They're grateful that these things are still giving us a gift to be resilient. And so when I hear that, I tell them that, I said, this is heaven. This is heaven. Because everything that you see was made in love to help us get through trauma. But I said there was another way of life that people didn't understand. They wanted to control their fears and their doubts. And so what did they do? They caused a place. They created a place so that they could control you. And then I said, that is your hell. But to us, it would be guilt and shame. We didn't have any prisons. We didn't have any jails because we were guided with principles and values. We had ceremonies to help our spirit whenever we lost our spirit in anger. We had to get rid of that and make it well again. We had to wipe our tears. We had to cry. We were given so many things we remembered to do whenever we felt. And so this is how our ancestors, this is why we're here today. Many of you say you don't know the way, but your body does. Each of us carry a memory of learning how to become well. But all we have to do is brush our minds of the anger. This is what the feather, the eagle feather, was. That was because it saved that first woman from Skyworld. That feather was to help us, to remind us, metaphor again, was to remove that grief from us, to remove that and remind us that we are love and that all creation was here to help us to see, to hear, to taste, and to speak. And so this is why we use the feather. We also use the water for smudging. People said, why? I never heard of that. I says, well, what do you do when you get up in the morning? Do you not wash your face? You're using water as a cleanser to clean away any thoughts, to refresh in your mind. And this is why we use cold water too. We use water to discipline a child. When a child was misbehaving, this was a sign of love when you were. So if any one of you got splashed with water, you were loved. Any of you that had to sit in a corner, you were loved. You were given discipline. And so discipline is much needed. It symbolizes you care what they're going to be like. We had to stop our behaviors. We had to look at our spirit and to continue carrying peace, power, and righteousness. And so that goes into the gonna let go now. So here's trauma again. And so the Creator had to remind us of all the love that's around us. Because we wore glasses, that was, as you say, was of colonization, of anger, hurt, and pain. And so we had to be given nickel, those rosy covered glasses to see the beauty in all again. And so what he did, he came and he sat with us. And so visiting is a very important part because we need that relationship. And what is happening to our children now? There's been a lot of COVID babies, so a lot of the babies weren't surrounded in our way. We always had, when there was a baby coming, we all kind of huddled around that mother that was carrying that baby. And so today's babies, they're kind of nervous. They're kind of, excuse me. Oh, I'm using so much time, I forgot to. So electricity is also that symbol of love, the love that that energy, the vibration. Our people believed in that vibration. Even the vibration how many of you, when you were little, you went and sat in a tree? That was your first safe spot. That was your first place. That was your special place to be. How many of you built a tree house? How many were out in the fields and just enjoyed that? Well, they're realizing how important healing is, because the peacemaker give us those teachings to help, to remind us that we are love. And because the peacemaker came to remind us, and I want to show you one of these belts. I don't know if you can see these belts on this part. Well, this belt is a support belt. Well, what does support means? It means that anybody that is in need of support, of caring, we are there to remind them how to. We give them the extension of our arms to help remind them. So when you see that circle, know that that is a part of hug. You come together. And so the circle is a symbol of love. So our eyes are round, the trees are round, everything is in a circle, even the rain that falls. It means the continuation of love, the continuation of life. And so we use that metaphor of life in a circle. And so this is one way to remind you, if you have negative thoughts towards others. It is to remind you that whatever you give out will come back. And so it reminds you, you must stop. You must take care of yourself. You must understand that's why they give us this teaching of the twin. When he reacted so quickly, there's consequences. And so when you react in that negative way, and the old people would always say, be careful because there's consequences. What they meant was it'll come back and it'll hit you. So that was one of our ways of being disciplined. Isn't that beautiful? A reminder there's consequences. How many were told to be mindful that there's consequences? And that's what my grandmother would, our old people would always use. And so all our belts that was created from the great law, there are many belts that was created, was to talk about the love of the land, the air, and the water, the two wampum, the love and respect for one another, the love for our land, the love for the air, the love for our water, but it also talked about the love for the future coming faces. How many of you are sharing that love for the future coming faces? Well, we have to think about that. What are we doing to share our love? Well, how about teaching them how to have a garden? That is the most beautiful way of showing love. I get emotional when I talk about that time because that's when my grandmas, they showed me the importance of growing things, because you are the creator of you. And when you see your own potato plant grow, boy, you feel, hey, I got power. Or you see your watermelon growing, you see your pumpkins, or you see your corn, you get very emotional because you see that's the love that is they made for you. Because my grandma explained why we sang our songs was when we got them ready, they had to be resilient. They were little tiny little seeds, and we spoke to the ground, and we asked the ground to take care of them and to give them the love and the nurture. And that goes back to that creation story where they had put her in the ground, and what happened was that because she never got to hold her children, she never gets to hold her grandchildren, and so she emanates love. She wants everyone to receive her love. So when you see all these things growing around you, see all the grass and the trees and the plants and the butterflies and the insects and the animals and the two-legged, the winged ones, the fin ones, the crawlers, they are here as a result of her love. And so you ask Itnistaha Yon Hanzari, our mother, the earth, to take care of that seed so it will be resilient, so that I can be resilient when they have come. And so you go in the garden, and when you're weeding, you see they're also helping you to be strong. They're firming up your arms, they're firming up your hips. They're doing amazing work for you. And so amazing work for all of us, amazing work. And so when you're in a garden, there's love, because you know what's going to come out of it, all the fragrance that's going to be done when you do the canning and you do the cutting up and you make something that, and when they are finally gotten tall, oh my gosh, you feel so happy inside because you've grown something to help your family. And if you I had one small plant, pepper plant, and I had two of them, and out of those two I had 100 hot peppers growing, and I guess they know how much I love hot peppers. So having that opportunity to be working in a garden is so much love. And that's where every child loves to play, and feeling the warmth of the between their toes, that is love. Even when it's muddy, oh, those children, they love it. They love to feel that mud between their toes. You know, how many of us have fallen in a mud? Well, I remember the times that me and my siblings, we would be um, deliberately running in mud just to just to hear that sound, I guess. And what we were doing was a lot of laughters, and we eventually we were pushing each other into the into the mud, and then we were having mud toss. Oh gosh. And we were all laughing. You know, we never you never cried when you were in mud because it was so such a wonderful feeling coming from that, playing in the mud. And I guess even the adults today, because what do they do? Go mud bogging, and there's mud baths today. So that is why we have love. We have love. And that's why the first language is of love. And so know that you are love. Know when you see the stars and when you see the sun, the moon, the wind, the clouds, all these things is a gift of love. And so it shines upon you every day so that you can be well. And so I am just a reminder through my words and how I see as a grandmother, the language of the first language is love. I could go on and on and on because there is so much in love from all our stories that helps us to get through any crisis.
Yeah. Oh, Yahweh Miigwech. It's just, yeah, the time has just flown by. It's like we could be here for like the whole day just listening to you and getting those reminders and those teachings and stuff. So we have a lot of comments in the chat about thanking those reminders, and when you got to different sections, so about reminding about the frogs and those, and listening and finding that love at different spots, and then with the egos and stuff. So it's just, yeah, it's a lot of people that thanking you, and then so something that this is what they needed to hear today. This is what they needed. People give morning thanks in their life every day for it keeps it they're going. People miss you. They haven't seen you for a while. So what a gift. Both grandmother herself and her messages are really needed. This Miigwech for presenting. Hearts, thank you for this. My heart is glowing. And they had to leave early, so they had to go, but thank you. Some of the loons, love the sound in that nature, the sound of love it. Yeah, big hearts with the eagles, and some came in late, but it was noticed they catching a little bit. Better late than never, and so they're appreciative that they were able to join. Some more hearts, so thank yous. Really enjoyed hearing all the positivity, exactly what they needed to hear today. Had to go, but this is beautiful. Miigwech, more thank you. Had to leave. So water teachings, growth and love, just, yeah. And then someone was worried about you're going to lose your voice. So, just thank you for the teachings. So emotional. Thank you so much very much for sharing your love with us, with the heart from Christina. Miigwech for your teachings. They had to go. Beautiful. Thank you, Grandmother Renee, for words and memories. Could listen to you for hours. Miigwech. It's just, yes, so many thank yous. It was very beautiful teachings about love, and keeps our hope open to love. So wonderful. It just, yeah, to go on and on about this is a lovely gift that you gave us today. Thank you so much. Your words have been so needed. I feel blessed. Thank you, Yahweh. Thank you. A lot of Yahwehs. So yeah, it was amazing. There's one question here. Sanokamas, how are we supposed to heal a broken heart? I'd love to hear the beautiful reflection.
Put your hands together. Feel that love. Your hands feel the heat, but you're going to have to work on it. You're going to have to learn how to, even when you have a broken heart, it's a part of trauma. You're a doctor. You're that doctor. So what you do is you rub your hands together, you take that moment and think of love, love, love. And then you place it over your heart and take some deep breath. Takes 3 deep breaths and work on it on a regular basis. And visualize that you're amending all those tears on your heart. And it's just like planting a seed, planting a plant of any flower or whatever. You got that power. The Creator gave you that power to heal a broken heart. And this is how I heal my heart every day, because I care so much for all those that are hurting. And so this is what I do for myself.
Yeah, awesome. Just, yeah, so many, look at the different choices. And I'm wondering about the frogs. I live in the city, I'm in Hamilton, and I miss the sound of the frogs. We have crickets here, but I don't live close enough to the water, so I have to make special trips to go and remind of that, right? But I hear the birds and stuff, and sending out that gratitude, whether it's not just verbally, but just the thoughts and stuff, right? So that's that just it's everywhere, right? And it's not just that physical sense. Valentine's Day comes and people are rushing out to get candies and roses and that kind of stuff, but it's love is all around us, right? Yeah. Oh.
It's every moment we breathe, because even our breath is a gift of love. It comes with a lot of answers. That's what the peacemaker said. I have given you what you need to help you to overcome. And so at this time I will leave, but I will be a breath away from you. So that very gift of when you're frustrated, stop and take a deep breath. By doing that and let it go, you're learning how to love yourself. You're learning how to put love back into yourself. And so you can start off by taking 3 deep breaths in the morning, stop and do that at noon, and then stop and do that in the evenings. And you recharge your body with love.